I, I appreciate you again taking me on board in your live podcast. That's very good. Or we want to discuss something that should deliver value to our valuable community.
Yes.
So you can uh, ask me
And thank
any.
you for coming on board, sir.
Thank you.
And जो आज ना जो हमारा टॉपिक होगा आज का वो है जी कि एक बंदा जो बिल्कुल बिगिनर है, हम बिल्कुल बिगिनर से शुरू करेंगे। तो जो बिल्कुल बिगिनर है बंदा, वो अगर फाइनेंशियल प्लानिंग करना चाहे, तो उसके फर्स्ट स्टेप्स जो है ना वो क्या होंगे? तो यहाँ से हम शुरू करते हैं बिल्कुल बेसिक
That's
से।
very good. That's very good question. You have asked that if a beginner wants to tap the financial markets or wants to make some passive income with his investment whatsoever he has. So for a beginner person, everyone that is new to the financial market, irrespective of age or gender or whatsoever, or that is should be considered as a beginner. A person which never invested in cryptocurrency, in stocks, in gold, or in ETFs, or in land, he is a beginner investor or a new investor. So, for anyone who is a beginner person, there are there are a few options that should be taken into consideration. Number one, if a beginner person does not have time and he is doing his job, but he wants to invest his savings so that he could make some passive income on that saving, then there are for that person the option is like asset management companies. Like, for example, if somebody is living in the US, then the asset management company in the US are the BlackRock, the Fidelity, and similar. There are so many others. Similarly, if a person wants to earn something with mutual funds, he can invest in. He can save. He can park his money or savings with the bank account to earn some passive income in the form of. There are different options that are
Like
offered by
savings account.
a savings account. इसी तरीके ਨਾਲ आप गोल्ड देयर आर गोल्ड मतलब ट्रस्ट gold there are so many companies in the US or even in other parts of the world as well. ठीक है जी, especially they are better in the farm and formation in the developed world, but they are also available in other countries which are not so developed as well. So this is for a beginner person who doesn't know how to invest. The beginner person can invest his or her money by purchasing a piece of land, a farmland, a shop, a house, a rental apartment, if he has got the appropriate funds.
Okay.
Okay, for example, to and that I think is as a very good investment. By if we classify the investment into different groups,
Mm-hmm.
then we see that the number one investment is the real estate or the farmland or a running business. A running business. These are the good investments, though they have their certain limitations. For example, they need a large capital to invest. Number one, you
Mm-hmm.
can't buy land or shop or house or farmland or a running business with the low capital. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so you need a large capital. This is the number one restriction. Number two,
Mm-hmm.
that they are not liquid as well. For
Okay.
example, if you own a plot, but at the night, overnight, you have to pay some extra amount and you immediately need money, then it will take time for you to search a buyer and sell your property. Okay.
Okay.
So liquidity is another concern in this, but in
Okay.
the long run, they are beneficial. and they are the number one option, are considered as the number one option in the entire world, though
Okay.
with certain limitations. I have
Okay.
already discussed two limitations. Okay.
Okay.
The second number that person can invest is to, if a beginner person investor is a salaried person,
Mm-hmm.
so he should invest a certain amount of his salary. For example, 1% or half percent or 2%, whatever he feels comfortable, whatever saves every month, he should buy gold or silver every
Okay.
month, and it is available in the good outlets, from
Mm-hmm.
smallest farm to large quantities.
Okay.
So the benefit of gold and silver is that they belong to a liquid market. If he needs money, he can instantly cash out his or
Okay.
her gold or silver, whatsoever he possesses. And if
Okay.
he has a planning for the long term, then he will also get a capital gain on that, on his investment. Okay.
Okay.
If for example, if a person is dollar cost averaging gold or silver every month, that means if a person persistently buys gold for 5 years or 10 years, then after 10 years, the inflation in the dollar will
Mm-hmm.
be very well accommodated in the gold or silver. So he will not be losing money because he is piling up his dollars in the gold or silver. But that takes a long time. So the limitation is a long term business. Number one, it's a long term approach.
Mm-hmm.
Number two limitation is this, that you have to take measures to protect your gold and silver.
Okay.
ठीक है जी? This is the second limitation. The third limitation, if you have certain amount of gold, you
Mm-hmm.
can't move it freely from one country to another country. ठीक है जी?
Okay.
So there are certain limitations, but generally considered, since the very beginning of the era,
Mm-hmm.
gold and silver, they are the precious metals, and they are the best store of value as well. Considered in general, it is agreed by the experts.
So physical assets like long term,
These are
in the
the
long
physical
term they
assets,
can buy
they
gold,
need, matlab hai कि their limitation is this, that you have to protect your gold. Okay,
land,
it needs
gold,
protection.
physical
If
assets.
somebody
Uh,
if somebody deprives you, or the second issue is this, that you cannot move your matlab hai कि asset freely. For example, if you have a 1 kilo of gold, how can
mm,
you carry this gold from one airport to another airport? That is the question.
mm,
So
mm.
this puts us some question mark, but in general, it's a good investment.
Good investment. Okay.
Now the number third investment comes to fix this problem. Bitcoin fixes these problems. Bitcoin does not pose you the problem of keeping your asset or moving your asset in entire world.
Mm-hmm.
For example, if you own Bitcoin worth
Mm-hmm.
$1,000 or $10,000 or maybe more or less, you can easily store that in your private wallet, and you can easily you can move the Bitcoin around the world with the speed of light. So this is the advantage of Bitcoin.
Okay.
Bitcoin is the new form of investment. It is a technology. It
Mm-hmm.
has got its own supporters, which are called as the BTC maxis.
Mm-hmm.
They are BTC maxis who promote BTC. I think that it would be not appropriate to consider or to compete the asset class with each other, but you can see that which asset class suits to you. If you are
Okay.
a person who frequently moves money around the world, then I
Mm-hmm.
think for that person or investor, Bitcoin gives the solution. ठीक है जी? You can
Okay.
store it easily. You can store unlimited amount of Bitcoin in just a USB hardware wallet.
Mm, okay.
Even
Yes.
paper wallet. ठीक है? There are limitations with the BTC. I don't think that they are currently, but there are risks posed to the BTC as well. That is the form of hacking, or some sort of quantum computer is also posing risk to the BTC algorithm. It may
Okay.
pose a threat to its stability in the future, but there could be solution as well in future. So, but this is also a class of investment if it suits to some mind. Everyone Not everyone is an investor of BTC. Not everyone is the investor of gold and silver. Not everyone is the investor of land. So people diversify their portfolio. They invest from one asset class to another class and to another class. And
Okay.
the fourth aspect is this: if
Your voice froze.
his or
Yeah,
her account will
your voice froze. So
uh,
can you please repeat this? That the fourth element of
ah,
investment.
the fourth class on the fourth class we consider see that on the fourth class we presume that we consider the stock market or the equity market. Okay,
Okay.
it's
Okay.
also a very good form of investment,
Mm.
but it needs a little bit of it needs a knowledge as well. If you don't know the fundamentals of the companies and you select a stock which is not worth buying, then you could
Mm-hmm.
make a wrong decision. In that case, you should, if you are not a knowledgeable person to
Mm-hmm.
invest in stock, then you should go to and contact to the mutual funds
Okay.
or the investment companies
Okay.
so that they will invest your money on your behalf into the best stocks or in the best money market. The
Okay.
asset companies, they have generally they invest in stock market, in
Mm.
equities, and
Mm-hmm.
in money market. Money market means forex.
Okay.
The difference in exchange rate, or the fluctuation in currencies, banks and large investment companies, they make a huge profit on that. Okay,
Okay.
so they can
So
they
for a
have the
new
funds
person, this is also another form of investment and passive
and the
income
fund.
that they
And
go to the forex
the
companies.
and
Okay.
the most stable investment in my view for a beginner is the bond market of the government. ठीक
Okay.
है?
Okay.
A government bond market is a very stable. For example, bonds issued by the US government, they are the most secure, the most liquid asset in the world, ठीक है? In the entire
Okay.
world.
Mm.
If a person has money and he or she parks his money with the government bonds, he will enjoy safety of the funds. He will enjoy liquidity of the funds. There is no issue of liquidity. There is no issue of safety, and he will get the stable yield on that. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
but the limitation is this that according some phase, some people do not invest in bond market. They prefer to invest in some other form of assets. ठीक है? But that is a very stable form of investment. That is the the US government bond market.
Or
And bond,
primarily, like in a sense, basically any government bonds, basically
any government bond as
any
well,
government bonds.
any
They're
government
also
bond.
good form of investment for a
They are a
beginner.
very they are the very good for basically governments pledge safety to the investors, and the government is
Okay.
responsible to pay the yield on that bond. ठीक है? Okay,
Okay.
so it's generally considered as a very
Safe
good and
investment
safe
for a beginner.
investment. ठीक है?
Okay. Okay.
And
That
there are
makes sense.
other form of investments are as well. For example, if you buy something which is valuable today, and if you keep it safe, it will valuable in the future as well.
Okay.
And you know that there is a lot of antique market. People
Okay.
buy paintings, people buy vintage cars, not because they are fast running, not because they are modern, but because of their antique value. So there is a
Okay.
huge market for the antiques as well. You know it.
Mm.
So these are the form of different form of investment a beginner can consider. And the
Okay.
second aspect is that if a person, I suggest for anyone at least to have some sort of financial knowledge. For example, what are the rate cuts? What is the U.S. economy is doing? How the U.S. economy is moving? The U.S. economic data. A person should be able to read and understand the U.S. economic data released by the Federal Reserve. Investors
Okay.
make their decision in the light
Mhm.
of hawkish or dovish tone of the Federal Reserve. If the Federal Reserve tone is hawkish, that means inflation is up. So to control the inflation, Federal Reserve has to increase the interest rates. This is a hawkish tone. Hawkish tone means investors become cautious.
Okay.
They withdraw their funds from markets. There are the two types of assets: risk on assets and risk off assets. And risk off asset, the number one risk off asset is the government bond. Okay?
Okay.
And the risk on asset mean cryptocurrencies or stock market, or even to some extent gold as well. They are generally considered as a risk markets. After the only the government bond market is considered as a risk off asset. Okay.
Okay.
So if the federal government tone is hawkish, that means if the Federal Reserve plans to increase wants to hike the interest rate, this will badly impact the financial markets. Why? Investor will move their funds from the risk on assets to risk off asset. That means they will move their fund from stock market and from to cryptocurrency to the
Mhm.
government bond. ठीक
Okay.
है जी? The bond market will get more attention compared to the, and when there is an ease by the then when there is a dovish tone by the Fed, that means the government wants to cut the
Interest
interest.
rates.
Governments wants to increase the money of the flow, money of the flow,
Okay. Okay.
flow of the money. Government wants to
Mhm.
inject more into the stock market, and government
Okay.
allows investors to inject their money and flow their money into the risk on assets like BTC, like
Mhm.
stocks. ठीक है?
Okay. Okay.
In that case, government will reduce the cut the interest rate. This
Uh,
means the bond market becomes less likely attractive for the investors, because investors
okay.
makes to make more wants to make more money, or they wants to have a stable return. In
Okay.
case of stable return, they will contact the bond market, and in the case of more money or more risk, more money, high risk, high reward, then they will put their money into the other form of asset classes. So it's very factor if any beginner or advanced or whatsoever the financial knowledge is, that knowledge revolves around mainly on one point, that inflation.
Okay.
If inflation increases, the government has no option but to increase the interest rate,
Okay.
okay, to control the inflation. And if inflation decreases, the government is left with the option to cut the rates, to reduce the interest rates. ठीक है जी?
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
So
Okay.
the Federal Reserve has certain tools. They make the decision on the basis of the data that they get from their agencies every month. It
Okay.
includes CPI data, that means consumer price index data.
Mhm.
Number
Okay.
uh, Similarly, they get certain other goods and services data,
Mhm.
employment data. So there are certain types of data that the Federal Reserve receives, and they take decision to make the economy better and to improve the economy. They take the decision in the light of those data. So it's important to you can check these data periodically released on their site, or you can have a certain news economic newspapers,
News articles or information
news
sources from
articles,
wherever they
or
can get the source.
like FX Factory. This is also a website. There are so many websites that provide the economic data, and you should know that on there are certain dates on which that this data is released. And when this data is released, the financial market respond to that data and to the decision made by the Federal Reserve. And this impacts not only the US financial market but markets around the world.
Okay. So primarily, what we have discussed so far is that if a beginner wants to start investing in and have some passive income, there are different ways. And the different ways are that they should buy land, real estate. They should buy invest in gold. They, if they cannot invest themselves, they do not have knowledge, then they can talk to the experts who can invest on their behalf
Ah,
in land, in housing societies, in like they can purchase land, they can buy real estate, they can buy cryptocurrency, they can invest in bonds, stocks, they can invest in antique market and have some passive income. So, and if they are not able to do it themselves, then there are experts, there are financial institutions and they can invest in. We also discussed that they can invest in banks. So there are different ways that a new person can start investing and making some uh, passive income. So, okay, and then uh, gradually when they get more experience, then they can uh, like increase their investment and keep doing it on a bigger scale. But so for example,
see,
now let us move to, so if we want to talk about them, uh, not in this session, but we will, so leading from this point onward, we will keep explaining each single aspect of investment. For example, real estate, if they want to invest in real estate, then how they should proceed. So we will start from one, two, three, four, and we will elaborate on all these aspects one by one. Make sense?
see, Uh, I'm reading comments by viewers. There are viewers who definitely those people. There are so many people who lack the proper knowledge of the financial markets or the financial investments. This is a proper knowledge, and at least uh, if you don't have knowledge, you can consult with someone who has the knowledge of that. The problem is this, that people jump very early to be, it's very fascinating for them to become investor, but they don't have the proper knowledge to do so. So first of all, they should get the financial markets. They know how financial markets work, how they
Okay.
operate, what are the risks and what are the benefits associated with them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If they don't have the proper financial knowledge, then they should not jump into that, because they will it will if they hope something, maybe they are hoping too much, and if they are fearing something, or maybe are fearing just unnecessarily they are fearing of it.
Mm-hmm.
The best way is to start with a safe investment. If anybody wants to make money, so look that there are certain types of earnings that you can make in the financial market. It's not a quick rich game. It's not
Mm-hmm.
a quick rich. That if somebody wants to, yeah, I should earn matlab, overnight, I can earn so much. So this is not a reasonable thing. The reasonable
They
thing
should
is
they
that
should also keep in mind that investment is a longer term thing. It is not short term. So at
it's a
least, yeah.
longer term approach. Number two is that there are certain institutes or companies that are working in every country, even in the developed world, even in other parts of the world which don't have so much development. There are companies. I think that the best companies are those that are backed by the government. If
Okay.
you invest your money or you park your savings with the hope that you may earn every month something or every year something,
Mm-hmm.
then you can consider investing in the reputable asset management companies.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
instead of giving your money to someone else, that is a wrong approach. Don't give your money to someone else.
Means
If you
do not
don't
give money to individuals. Basically,
to individual.
invest money in reputable organizations or with government. This is safe. That's what you mean.
Yeah, that was the same thing.
Okay. Okay.
So there are people who misuse other people's, misappropriate other people's fund in the name of investment. They misguide them. There are influencers who they are not competent to give any. Our discussion is to create an awareness among the audience, We do not provide any. It is our disclaimer for the on the beginning of the video. In the beginning of the session, we do not provide anything that constitutes to financial advice. Our job is to provide education and to create an awareness among our audience so that they could be able to understand about the financial markets, how they operate, what are the risks or benefit associated with them. There are, if there are benefits, then there are risks as well. So if a person has some sort of knowledge, he will make a wise decision. He or she will make a wise decision. If a person doesn't have any knowledge, they may call it as a scam. May call it as a some sort of other bad name. But their version is that this shows that they don't have the knowledge about it.
Hmm.
We've already discussed in our previous discussion that if you do not know that what are the bear markets, what are the bull markets, what are the on the which if the market if you want to invest for example in any stock or in a cryptocurrency, you should know, at least you should view the monthly chart of that asset. You should know that whether it is trending. If it is trending, that doesn't mean you should buy it. If it is trending, you there are if the it is trending upward, then you are most likely enticed to buy it. But where, when to buy it? So for
That is
that
the yes.
purpose,
That is
you
the
can
question.
use certain ways. There are so many ways that a person, a beginner person will mostly they don't make money because it is not that there is no money in the market, because they did not know how to enter into the market.
People
What should
don't know
be
basically. People don't know.
eh,
People don't
people
know
most
basically.
you see generally people they don't have the proper financial knowledge of any asset. Like it is turning there you see that the basic knowledge is the Wyckoff theory. Wyckoff theory is a very old knowledge given by the Richard Wyckoff. So he said that market has four phases: accumulation,
So now basically you are
distribution.
referring to markets overall, like in general how market works.
But I am discussing the general cycle which operates in every time frame in every financial market. That means
Okay.
markets squeeze, markets contract, and then market expand. If you are a buyer and market expands in the buy direction, you make profit. If you are a buyer, market contracts against you, market expands against you. The breakout is on the downside, and you are expecting a breakout on the above side, on the buy side. Then you may lose a trade, and you may get a stop loss. It okay.
Okay.
So the you should understand the market phases. Market accumulates. That means it is called contraction phase, and then market expands. It is called markup phase. Then market accumulates. Then market distributes. Then again market accumulates. This cycle repeats on the upside on the buy side, and this cycle is repeating on the sell side.
Okay.
If somebody has this knowledge, he will not, he or she will not make a wrong decision in this. Okay.
Okay. So basically patience and understanding the market is important. What is the market cycle? Is market expanding or contracting?
The number one
And
thing, the number one thing, if anyone who is interested to make investment in financial market, remember my words, is to
Hmm.
understand the market cycle phase. In which phase the cycle is. If the market is trending upward, but the move market has taken to the upside, what is the phase of that cycle? It is a markup phase, it is a distribution phase, it is a contraction phase. If you understand the market cycle with the perspective of buy, means that it is trending upward. With if you with the perspective of downside, it is trending downward. Okay? In
Okay.
both cases, you should buy the pullback, but which pullback you should buy?
Okay.
If market is trending on the upside and taking support on the weekly or monthly time frame, you can use at least, I think, mostly, for example, if I give example, you can use a 20 period moving average. You can use a 50 period moving average.
Okay.
If market is above the is taking support on that moving averages and then gives you a signal that it will continue its trend and make some sort of candlesticks pattern or something that suggests you that the market has completed its reaccumulation phase and again planning to go upward, so then you can buy it. So
Yes.
people, if you do not have the knowledge of these things, if they buy randomly and sell randomly, that doesn't make any sense. Okay, number one thing. If somebody is a, for example, I can say that super trend is an indicator. If super trend breaks out, if you want to see the direction of the market, you can see it in the higher time frame, in the monthly time frame, in the weekly time frame, not in
Mhm.
a 1 minute time frame or 2 minute time frame. Okay.
But this basically, like for those people who are joining us new, just want to summarize the whole discussion that this session is not a financial advice in that sense. We are just giving the informational knowledge to the people, to
Yes, of
our
course.
audience. Yes, and then there are certain, like if someone wants to. So the main theme of this session is that if someone wants to start investing as a new person and they do not have a prior knowledge of investment, but they want some passive income, there are certain ways that they can start investing in and making some passive income as a new person, as a new beginner. And that is that they can buy land, they can buy real estate, they can buy bonds, stocks, they can invest in banking products.
See, these are the different types of the investment. A
Yes,
person can choose one class or
or
he can
different
choose
classes.
more than one class. It
Yes,
depends upon the worth of the investor. If a
yes,
person has got worth, if a person wants to invest in real estate, then his worth should be in millions at least.
yes,
ठीक है जी? So if a person doesn't have so much capital, that means that a person, anyone who wants to invest in different asset classes, he or she will invest according to the capital available with him or her. Okay,
yes,
number one.
yes.
On basis of that capital, he or she can make some decisions. I think that for a beginner, anyone who is a salaried person, who is doing some sort of job, who is getting a monthly income or bi-weekly income or bi-weekly income, if he has got some opportunity, he can start a little bit of saving in the form of gold, in the form of silver, in the form of some penny, some stocks after studying those them. But I already stated that investing needs nowadays. If you want to invest in anything, you at least you should have some sort of knowledge. The number one thing for a beginner is to at least get the knowledge of the financial market. Start with the low capital. Do not invest too much. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
because if you are investing too much, you are increasing your risk.
Yes.
So the number one lesson for a new investor is to manage your risk. Okay,
Okay.
if the number one lesson for a new investor is to manage being an investor, the
Mm.
the foremost duty for any investor is to manage the risk. If you are a risk manager, you are a good investor.
Okay.
Okay. And if
Okay.
you are a greedy person and you want to go to the moon overnight and you inject your whole money, this means you are making a very stupid mistake.
So primarily there is no quick money. So investment, if you want to invest,
But
then
it is a slow and
patience.
gradual process.
Slow
It
and
takes
gradual process.
time. So be patient. Be move invest with very caution. Okay. Those people who will care less, who do not care about their money, and they think that their money would bring some asset to the upper level, they are very wrong. retail investor, retail traders, they do not push the markets to the higher
Mm,
end or the low. It is the
mm,
big money that moves the market, not the retail money. Okay.
mm. Okay. So I think we will. This was a good discussion, and we will continue from here. So we mentioned about seven or plus types of investments, and then we will
Yeah, they are
basically,
different. Deco
yeah,
investment could be of different investment classes: bond
yes,
market, stock market, equity, forex market, money market. These are all the gold market, commodities, or flat
crypto
market,
market, crypto market. This is also new.
crypto
Yes.
project. There could
So we
be
will.
different.
So basically, we will conclude today's session that new person can invest in different ways. If
A new person, we should conclude our session with these words that anyone who is a beginner to the financial market, he or she must get knowledge about the financial market. Number one. And
Mhm,
number two, they should know how to manage their risk.
mhm,
These are
mhm,
the two
mhm.
fundamental things that a beginner person must understand before
Understand?
entering or making any financial decision
Yes.
about
So at
money
least some
or his
basic
money.
knowledge. Okay.
These are at least they have got the basic knowledge
So
of the financial
yes.
market.
So with this
Uh,
note, we will conclude our session, and we will keep talking and elaborating on each aspect in next sessions. So
okay, thank you.
thank you for
And
coming on
thanks
board.
for those who posted their comments. I appreciate them, and I encourage them to, if they have time, they can. We will almost be live on most of every day. They can
They can
hear
join
our talk,
and
and
yeah,
they
put
can
their
give their
questions.
suggestions. I will
Yes.
ask the viewers to give their suggestions
Yes.
positively and appropriate manner.
Yes.
And if they have any new question or topic they want to listen our views on that topic, they
Yes.
would be welcome to mention them in their
Yes.
comments.
Yes.
Uh, our
So
goal is our goal is to educate the people and not to advise them to make this investment or that investment.
yeah.
We do not advise anything to them, but at least we would enable them that they would be able to independently think before making any financial decision.
Yes.
So this is the
Okay.
goal.
So
So
thank you very much, sir.
I am thankful to all those who posted their comments,
Yes.
whether
Yes.
their comments were positive, whether they posted negative comments. We don't mind them, we welcome them. But if they will continue to hear our discussion, ultimately they will find some value in our discussion as well. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you
With
very
these
much.
words, thank you very much.
Thanks very much. Okay. And
Thank
see
you.
you next session.
See you in the next session.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you to all. Okay.
Bye.